going around the table then, are you pro-life or pro-choice?
I'm pro-choice, and I think I'm the only one not in favor of it. Yeah, I'm pro-choice, and I think I'm the...
You're not.
Oh.
You're not in favor. What about you?
I'm pro-choice.
That's interesting. I'll come back to that.
Pro-life.
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 Okay. So for you guys here, I can sort of see your position on this a little bit. I'm a little confused by your position, though. So a woman who, for example, would you agree that a woman who's not financially ready to have a child, would you think that that's a perfectly justifiable reason to get an abortion?
Honestly, yes.
What if she's just not ready to, maybe she is financially ready, but she just doesn't really want to be a parent yet?
I think that no matter what point you're in your life, you can have so many underlying tiny reasons that have led you to decide that, I think she should have that choice.
Here's another scenario. So she would otherwise be financially ready. She's otherwise ready to be a mother, but remove that for a sec, Nick. But she just wants to keep partying. She doesn't want to, deal with a kid right now.
I think that's irresponsible.
Well, but should she?
I think that it's still not our place to choose for her.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. I think
So
I can
disagree
disagree with why she's doing it, and I can be like, wow, that's a really dumb decision.
Sure.
But she should still have the right to choose.
So let me ask you a question. What about in a scenario where you put a man in a situation where he's had a casual sexual encounter with a woman, and he doesn't want to have any children, and the woman gets pregnant and she wants to keep the child, and he wants to, what would you say to him when he says to you, well, shoot, I don't want an 18-year responsibility. I don't want to pay child support. What would you say to him?
I think that he has a certain obligation to do that. I don't think that he has any obligation necessarily to be, I hate to say this, but a parent, because they did not make that decision together. He gets a choice just like she does to be involved in that life. But I think that the second that you have sex, you are kind of putting that risk up, because I definitely know a lot of women who felt that way. There was just a hookup, then they got pregnant, and now they have that 18-year obligation, but they can't just say no, Because
yeah, but this is a very strange position. So you said that you essentially support on-demand abortion, correct?
I think with limitations, yes. I think that the term of which you should be able to get an abortion should be limited. And I do think that...
Wait, sorry, Andrew, if it's all right, I just want to have a bit more of a back and forth, but I'm happy to have you jump in on this on just a sec. So, what do you think about deadbeat dads?
I've met deadbeat moms too, so I think a good parent's a good parent, and they'll step up if they'll step up.
But would you look, like, for example, a man who didn't want to financially support an unwanted child, would you look down on him?
I think I would equally look down on that in the way that I would look down on an absent mother, to be honest. I think that...
As opposed to sorry, I'll let you finish. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. I'd love for you to clarify so I could give a more accurate answer.
Well, no, it wasn't so much that, but when it comes to the woman's side of getting pregnant, having an unwanted pregnancy, you're very clearly very progressive on this. You're very, by your own admission, you're pro-choice. However, when we look at the opposite side of this, we look at the male side of this, you're basically like a Bronze Age pro-lifer when it comes to men's responsibility. So why is it, for example, that you object to, you seem like men have an obligation to financially support a child despite his lack of ability to do so, or despite his lack of not wanting to do so? You seem to be kind of, I don't know.
Think it should be indefinite. I don't think it should be like they have to no matter what. It should. The thing is, my view is a very, very case-by-case basis, which is why it's so hard for me to give you such a direct answer. So I definitely think that there are women that try to baby trap men. And I get that. And I also get that sometimes like it's the opposite way around too. I've seen that as well, men that try to baby trap women. So
Okay. Well, the current state of the law is, regardless of the motivations of the woman, whether she was trying to baby trap him or they were being a bit careless when it came to protection or whatever it may be, if a woman chooses to keep the child and the man doesn't want, the man has no say.
I think there should
really
be-
quick, just like the people that are pro-choice are only pro-women's choice when it comes to men not wanting to be fathers. Most pro-choicers turn into Bronze Age pro-lifers when it comes to the the male side of
I see what you
reproductive
mean.
rights.
I completely see what you mean, and that's a new perspective for me to look at it. I still believe that women should have a right to choose. A lot of my opinion, I will say, comes from the medical side of things for why I am pro-choice, because I personally might not be able to survive carrying a child to term. I know several other people that are that same way, and there are so many states where if I was there, I would just die, because you're not allowed to have that choice.
Okay.
And so for the men's side, I don't honestly have super clear determinate views that I have created for myself, but I do think that there should be some level of choice, especially the way that you're saying that now. I realize that I'm definitely misrepresenting the way that I wanted to say that. And so I think that men should have some kind of choice, whether that be that they have the opportunity to say, hey, I don't believe that I should be locked in this for 18 years. I believe that I took responsibility for my part of this, and she's choosing to do this. There should be some kind of court where you're able to show that it was not malintent, that you got this person pregnant, and that you should be able to have just as much freedom in that choice as they do. But in that case, I think there should be some sort of government support.
You should have to petition a court to do that?
No, I'm saying there should be a different route than there is now. Like, there should be something in place that there currently isn't.
Yeah, there's nothing.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying, is we should have something in place specifically for this if we're wanting to give both of them a choice. Because
Well, that wasn't your position earlier. Your position earlier was, when it came to the Kentucky thing, not only should men pay child support, they should also pay before the child's even born, which is totally unprecedented in any state in the U.S.
I think for medical bills,
I don't think,
they should have to help.
men
But
should have to pay.
I think the thing is, I think that this should
Why?
also involve with that. They should have the choice to go and prove that they, shouldn't have
But
to
you
be
can't
there.
you can't coincide, like you cannot hold the pro-choice position, but also your position should be men should be obligated to pay for a woman's health expenses
a
related to
question?
pregnancy. You know what? You're welcome to ask questions, but you ought to wait until I finish my sentence before you ask if you can ask a question.
Well, that's how we were instructed to like interject if there's no
Yeah, but
opportunity to
you know how I was like in the middle of a sentence and you like interrupted me? Can you not
It's gonna
interrupt
have
me?
to interrupt at some
No, there's you know
point,
how
there's
there's
no
periods? You know how there's periods?
Yeah.
You can kind of wait until there's a period.
And then it leads directly into her response, and then I'm interrupting
Go ahead.
her instead. I just wanted to know if you would still be pro-choice if you didn't have any medical factors in play, not you personally, like just in general in like the world.
Wait, like if there's
Like if there was
medical
no
factor.
like medical complications and everyone could just like birth freely, would you still be pro-choice, or is it because of the? Okay, I think I get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
And I think it's like
That's an
your
interesting
take being
way.
different is very personal, and I think I understand, like I can empathize with it.
Yeah, no, I honestly don't really have an answer for that, because I feel like, yeah, a lot of my position comes from it being medical, from a lot of medical stuff. There's just the abortion laws have, like, there's like so many people that have been put into like poor medical positions just because their body wasn't prepared to have that pregnancy and now they need to keep it. But if that was taken away, I think that I would lean a little bit more towards pro-life, but I would still be in the middle because it's not my life. It's not my body. But as for men, I think that the reason that my position is changing is because a lot of what you've said has definitely opened my eyes to a new perspective that I hadn't looked at previously.
Mm-hmm.
And thinking about it like that, especially with you saying like Bronze Age, like pro-lifers, Like, I do see what you mean with that, with how I view it. And while I do think that everybody should have a choice, I just think it's so convoluted and so hard.
It's not hard.
To like,
No,
well,
it's very
for
simple.
Legal. Legally.
I think it's very simple. Here's my position. In any state where a woman essentially has the right to murder her unborn child, a man should have a corresponding right to totally relinquish any responsibility or obligation to that woman financially. That's my position.